Press?
So there's something to be said about maybe people who like I agree. I want as much money as I can. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I want all of it. But when I look at it like in a humanitarian perspective, I agree that I really don't think any single guy really needs billions of dollars. You know what I mean?
No.
Realistically. You know what I mean? Maybe it happens that way just because you have such a fucking crazy like song or something where it's inevitably gonna blow up like that, right? Where it's like it happens to make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But like realistically, we should have some sort of semblance of, sharing to some degree or something.
And that like even so Scott Galloway, the person that I'm going to be talking about for like a little bit, just some of the things he said because he has some really good ideas. Yeah. He's like socialism obviously it doesn't work because it kind of eliminates like people wanting to like progress because you're not going to work that hard and have these great ideas to not make anything from it.
No, of course not.
To be the same as the guy that's doing nothing.
Absolutely, it's the same at work.
So he even says in it he's like it makes sense that there's like a few people that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars because they're some of the smartest, most intellectual, changing the world.
Yeah.
Which like totally makes sense, but he's like the divide shouldn't be as large as it is. It's like it's a little bit too. It's like runaway now.
Yeah.
It's like say the average person makes $100,000 a year. It makes sense for maybe the top 0.1% of innovators to be making $10-20 million a year.
Sure.
It shouldn't be 20-30 billion.
That's kind of all my point is too.
One of the graphs he shows in it, he said the top. And it's been like over the last like few decades, it's really like capitalism in America has gotten insane.
It's pretty messed up.
And he even has a few good points of like there's the largest amount of wealth transfer to like older generations ever. Like from young people to old, which is like crazy.
It is.
And it's like even who's that comedian, bigger guy? He always like he does like the Trump impressions.
Shane Gillis?
No.
You're talking about
Tim Dillon. He even talks about a lot how baby boomers, they have tons of money and they just want more and more and more and it's all about them. So he even talks about that, how it's like the baby boomers hold all of the money, all of the wealth, they do. More than any time in history
any
ever.
Other group of
So in the last I think he shows a graph, I forget how many years, but over the last 20 years, it went from the top 300 and some billionaires had more money than the bottom 50% of America. 300 people have more than, so what? Say there's 200 million people. So 300 people have more money than the bottom 100 million, say. Crazy comparison.
Man. Now almost have 400 million people.
Okay. Now the top 26 have
more
than the bottom 50 percentile. So, obviously the bottom 50 percentile per person probably has nothing.
Yeah.
But you're talking about hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
And he said over the next decade, it's probably going to shrink to 3 people.
Yeah.
Because you have people like Elon Musk, Bernard Bernault, the guy that owns all the luxury.
They keep buying things out and they keep owning everything.
And it was Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and him. He's like, they're all worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
Incalculable amount of power.
More money than you can ever spend. Realistically, there is nothing for them.
There is a limit to how much you could realistically spend in a day.
He even talked about it because it's from Summit.
I know Summit.
He did.
I know Summit. Yeah.
He was talking where now because he talked a lot about luxury goods in this and how the luxury market in America is ridiculous. Yeah. And he talks about Hermes and
it's actually why the luxury market is so toxic in America. That's why brands like Toyota and Honda and stuff have a secondary brand. That's why Honda has Acura. That's why Toyota has Lexus. Japan doesn't have that stuff.
Which,
they don't look at it like that.
Because it's crazy capitalist.
It's nuts.
And he even talks about
in Japan, you can buy a really high-end Toyota, and it's the same as a Lexus here, but they just call it a Toyota.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But America was like, no way, man. I can't just have the Honda this. I need the Acura this. You want the luxury version.
He made a comparison. Hermes, the brand,
has
a higher market cap than Nike. And he's like,
and how much do they not sell?
So he talks about Birkin bags.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of that.
Yeah.
So they have such an exclusive. It's like Rolex. You have to wait 3 years to get it.
Yeah.
Or what? And he's like, the bag costs $800 to make. They sell it for $15,000. Yeah. And they have such a unique business model and such scarcity to where if they need to make a profits goal, it's like, we need to make $1 billion this year. They're like, okay, we just make more Birkins and we will sell them because there are so many people.
They will sell.
But he talks a lot about the wealth divide, like crazy. Like he pretty much like he even says, he's like, I shit on my own class basically, because he's worth over $100 million. He said, I think it was 10 years ago he hit 100 million, and that was his number. He's like,
I'm good.
That, you know, everyone like Hormozis is like 15 billion.
Yeah.
He's like, no one needs to be a billionaire. No one needs to be a billionaire.
Realistically.
To buy anything, you don't.
No.
You don't.
No.
There's nothing to
Unless the only way you need to be a billionaire is if you want all the power in the world. The actual power.
Yeah. So he shits on his own social class all the time, which is why I also kind of respect him, because he's
humble and he's self-aware.
He's self-aware that like where he's at, he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Just for like as far as like a society.
Yeah.
And he was he thought it was funny because
he notices the flaws.
He's like the new luxury good for billionaires that are what's Donald Trump? Republican? Democratic? Republican. He's like the new Republican thing to buy is, I think he said Republican. I might be getting them flipped. Is like sports teams. That's their new luxury good.
Yeah.
They all seem to just buy like sports teams.
The thing to buy.
If you have like, you know, $10 billion, you just go buy a sports team. And then he's like the opposite side of the party. They just go buy news medias. Because you notice like Democrats, they all have, they own like Fox News and
dude.
CNN.
It's fucking twisted.
And then, you know, you have
control the narrative.
You have Elon Musk. He got bored and bought Twitter.
And then fired 85% of the staff.
See? And he even said you're going to see a big change because now companies are realizing they don't need this many people to give the same product.
No.
And he talked about like people taking like getting fired like personally as to themselves, and it's like at the end of the day, businesses just care about money.
That's it.
They don't. It's not based off of you at
They're
all.
not looking at Tim doing a bad job.
They're
looking at, oh, we can cut 10,000 guys and make 100 million more this year.
Or the same, and have a lower cost.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can't take it personally because at the end of the day, capitalism will do what it is, and it's about making money.
Yep.
And that is what their capitalism is good at and business are good at.
But then I can understand why you would take that personally.
100%.
Because you're like, yes, I understand why you got rid of me because you can make more money if I'm not there. But now I'm just fucked. You know what I mean? And it's like I can see both sides.
Oh.
And it sucks because it's like I agree with him too. It's like 100%. I agree. You just got fucked just because the business is like, go fuck yourself.
It's the nature of capitalism.
Right? And it's twisted.
You play,
it's so fucking sick.
Like, so he pretty much like, because he's at a point where he can like look outside, he's like, capitalism is just a big fucking game, basically.
That's all it ever
of just
has been.
money.
Yeah. That's all it ever has been. How can you make it faster?
He even talks a lot about how, like, as far as like Social Security is like the biggest transfer of wealth. It's like, I forget. It's like
in the next 10, 15 years, right? Something like that. Yeah. It's going to be insane.
It's like hundreds of billions of dollars are literally getting funneled from the youth into, you know, his generation of like 60-year-olds and whatnot. He also bashes universities.
Oh,
so
they're trash.
Fucking hard. Because he's like, when I went to, he went to UCLA.
Sure.
He's like, acceptance rate was like 70%. You could get a job right out of it.
Anytime.
It was like, now.
And tuition wasn't, it was expensive, but it wasn't like fucking bankrupting.
Yeah. And he's like basically, he's like, like he talks a lot about endowments, and he's like Harvard, all these Ivy Leagues are basically hedge funds running as nonprofits, so they're not taxed, and they're basically hedge funds that give out degrees.
Yeah.
Is what they are nowadays.
Yeah.
Because Harvard has like hundreds of billions of fucking dollars.
So many.
Like
so many dollars. It's fucking crazy.
He makes a really good point to where there's 2 points as far as university. One, he talks about how they're basically incentivized to lower their acceptance rate. So they try to get as many people to apply so they can be like, only 7% get in.
Yep.
And actually a book, Economic Facts and Fallacies.
It's another scarcity thing.
Scarcity.
It's literally all it is.
It's a luxury good now. Facts and Economic Facts and Fallacies, a book I'm reading.
Now, it's always kind of been that way.
Now it's ridiculous.
Now it's like extremism, but even before, like even in the 90s. Oh, I went to Harvard. And it's like, oh, fuck, this guy's somebody, right? It was like,
but the acceptance rate was a lot higher.
This is true. This is true.
But they're like, in the book, explains it even further to where all the ways that they calculate how good a university is based off of input, not output. Because it's hard to judge an output of a university of how well their students learn.
Right, because and then it's like, okay, now you have to track each and every graduate and then see where they're at in fucking life, and like, holy fuck, imagine the money to spend on that.
So they do it based off like acceptance rate. So if it's really low, it must be a really good university because everyone wants to be there. So they're like padding their own numbers. And because he's also like a teacher at like I forget what school.
Sure.
And he says like the average student leaves with like at least 3 job offers, and they're making like an average of $220,000 a year from like whatever university program he's like running.
Yeah.
Because he's on a bunch of boards. Like he cares a lot about education, but like he also bashes it super hard. Yeah. He's like, it needs to change. And he said they should lose their non-profit like tax benefits because they don't pay taxes.
They're a church.
If they're not trying to actively increase the education and size of class, like a freshman class size, they should lose it, because it's like you're making all this money, but the class size is still so small and population's growing. Yeah, to where like that money should be spent on increase. Like Harvard should have
more rooms,
tens of thousands of students, not whatever it is, 1,000.
Fucking exactly.
I don't know what
they should have tens of thousands and more campus, more space.
They should be spending the money on the school.
You can fucking get more professors. You could hire guys that are geniuses across the world.
So
you have the cash, man. You could be known as the greatest institution on the planet. You could. Oh, using the money wisely, right? But they just choose not to.
The 12 of the 20 best professors in the world are all at American Ivy League schools because it pays double that of the UK. So like Oxford, you get paid double at Harvard.
Yes.
And they're not incentivized to teach students. No. Because all of these Harvard, MIT, all these are actually research institutions. Yes. They're not schools.
No.
So all professors care about is writing their papers, their research, because that's what furthers their career. 100%. Not teaching students.
They don't give a fuck.
And
they got that job for themselves.
And they also talk about, like, in the book I'm reading, about tenure and how, like, tenured professors, most of them don't even teach classes. They have their undergraduates teach it.
Yep.
And all they do is their research, because that's what furthers their academic career.
And those undergraduates are likely hardly ever paid.
No, they don't get paid.
They're just incentivized with, you can be a teacher and teach this stuff that you're trying to, grow into your own life. So here's an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And then they get to fuck off and just do whatever the fuck they want.
And also,
that even happens at our university.
Oh,
here.
100%. And
it's fucking nuts, man.
And basically, if you don't become a tenured professor, you're guaranteed to get fired.
You're trash. Yeah, you're gone.
Because they, in the book, which pairs to what he's saying, they, if you have a really good teacher that's really good at teaching and you learn a lot, it's almost guaranteed that you won't become a tenured professor because you're not paying enough attention to the research. Yeah. You're actually trying to help the students. Yeah. So you're incentivized not to help the students.
Yep.
Like most of the time spent is just research on, say, mathematics or physicists, which is so broken.
It's backwards.
Like
it's backwards.
And because he's an academic,
sure.
And in that culture, all he does is shit on them.
Yeah.
He's like, academics are just, all they do is try to pat themselves on the back and tell them how smart each other are.
Yeah,
and like,
man. It's fucking stupid.
It's so stupid.
Now imagine if everyone just worked together. No. How much stuff we would get done, how much research we would discover, how much progress we would make as humanity if these geniuses, arguably, just fucking work together. You know what I mean? Just work together and actually went for a common goal. Could you imagine that? Never happened.
Who was it that was saying basically like it was after the Cold War ended, like most research and like progress is like halted.
Yeah.
Because you need something like, even if, because
you need drive.
America was always ahead of the Soviet Union in everything, but the perception that they might get ahead drives you need someone biting at your heels.
Yeah, dude. You can't be the wolf on the mountain. You have to be the wolf climbing it.
And to assume that the Soviet Union might be better than you makes you climb. Like the space race.
Infinite now. And it's like, I got to keep climbing.
Like, Russia was never going to get to the moon.
No.
In general.
No.
But America's like, we're getting to the moon.
We have to. We got to beat them. We got to beat them.
And they were basically playing against
There was inklings of
themselves.
China like floating up in there, and they were like, no, we have to be first. We have to be first. We have to be number one. That was enough for America for fucking from 60 something until 80 whatever.
Yeah.
Like a 20, 30 year span of them just fucking nose to the grindstone. And it's because they had a looming threat. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Is a little bit of pressure. And that applies to not just obviously countries and stuff,
yeah.
to us, to everybody.
Oh, yeah. It's just obviously if a country, it's a bigger.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just way more power involved.
I also seen, like, because he talks about a lot where, like, the middle class is a new thing. There was never a middle class ever.
No. Yeah. Who was I just watching? I was listening to something about this. Like, the middle class doesn't actually exist. There's only the ownership class and the working. That's it. There's only two technically classes.
The middle class was developed after World War I and II because all of those soldiers got tons of money. When there was like a multi-$100 billion fund given to them so they could like get houses, and that was what created the middle class. And now it's being obviously eroded. Yeah. And like now there's like, that's why you're seeing in capitalism a higher and higher divide where the wealth is more and more concentrated at the top.
Ownership and more working. Yeah.
That's why like monopolies
that's
and
the big gap right now.
And it's only increasing like exponentially.
Absolutely. And it's also making it harder for anybody who does work to try and own.
100%.
Which is why they're all saying you're going to own nothing and be happy about it.
Because it's getting to that point.
We're fucking barreling towards that. Like speed.
It's exponential, not linear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably linear like 20, 30 years ago. But in the last 20, 30 years, it's just gone like this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He had a really good point about taxes because he's like, he boasts about like he's super open. He's like, I pay 17% tax. That's what I pay. And he's like, he's had multiple exits of over 10 million. He said he exited, and because he was an entrepreneur, he had $10 million non-taxed. He didn't even get taxed on for selling the business because they have some, that's how it's set up. What?
And he's like,
no, legit. He was like that. He's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. He's like, I just kind of like took it because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And that's basically what he says a lot. He's like, I just use it because it's there. He's like, I'm not saying it's right. It's like, but I'd be stupid not to use it.
That's the thing, right? If it's available and he has the ability to use that tool, you're the dummy for not doing it. It
like,
just is.
What, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be a good person and pay extra tax? Like, no,
fuck no.
And you know, like a common thing is, oh, all the taxes are taken from like the middle class and this and that. He makes a good point. He's like, the middle class isn't the ones that get taxed. It's the people that are trying to make that like shift. Yeah. Where he's like $150,000 to $1 million. Yeah. Those are the people where they get taxed the most because it's like, I think it's like up to 40% because they're still working for their income. Yeah. And he's like, as soon as you get kind of past that and where you're buying into businesses, then it's basically like a curve. So like at 150,000, you're here and it goes like this. And then he's like, as soon as you hit that like million and you're like owning businesses, real estate, whatnot,
comes back down.
He's like, it drops off the face of the planet.
Parabola.
Yeah. It's like, he's like, it doesn't even make sense. No. He's like, it's basically, there's a huge barrier and then all of a sudden there's nothing. Gone. And then that's where people run wild with it.
Yes.
And that's why obviously it's being shifted.
You got to make it over that though.
And also basically like all government programs are shifted just to like moving it towards the older demographic, which makes sense because it's, I think 60% of people like, and they're like 50 and up vote. Yeah. Whereas below that, it's only like a 40%. Yeah, I know. So it's a larger demographic that have the voting power.
Absolutely.
So obviously policies are going to be made to benefit them because the politicians want to stay in power. So you need to make like government programs that benefit your voter base.
Absolutely.
It's all based on who votes.
That's how it works.
That's how the government's run.
It's always how it's been.
So if it's happens to be
play to who you fucking know that you're gonna
who's gonna keep me in power. It's all like a power thing.
Yeah, you just play.
And it just so happens that they're just like, well, we're gonna make these people super rich because they're the ones that vote for us.
Fucking twisted, man. It's all backwards.
In economic, you need to read Economic Facts and Fallacies. You'd be mind blown. Yeah. Everyone read that book. You will understand how the economy works so well and understand why it's so corrupt. Because there is a reason in so many like, you know, people that were able to buy homes super cheap and whatnot. have like suburbs. You know, there's like now super bougie suburbs.
Yeah.
And they all
HOAs and all that.
yeah. So pretty much all of those communities, they get together and then they push government to make sure no one can develop around it, so they don't let more people into their little community.
Yeah.
And then it's passed off as green space or open space. And in the book, this economist, he's basically like, 97% of the US isn't developed. What do we need green space for? Which is why you see housing prices get jacked up, because if, say, there's an influx of homes, house prices will obviously drop because more people can get them.
Of course.
So that doesn't benefit homeowners.
No.
So they're obviously going to vote towards not building new homes because
Yeah.
then their property values go up.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day,
Like, fuck, man.
it's so selfish, but it's also so human nature.
And I understand. And I'm so conflicted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm conflicted because, like, inherently, I hate that. I hate that that's how things are because people are pieces of shit. You know, I just look at it as you're so selfish that you're just letting millions of people basically die with no ability to try and help themselves. The other half of me goes, fuck them. That's why I hate it.
Yeah, because you can get it.
I'm both.
Yeah.
I'm both guys. I'm a nice person and I'm here for people. But then the other half of me goes, fuck literally everyone.
And
I just want to do my thing and I don't care what anyone else does or thinks.
And it also does make so much sense why the people that have don't want more people to have it, because it takes away from what they have.
What they have, yeah. And then that's a whole other fucking philosophical fucking argument right there. It's like, you're like really that butthurt? Because like your things aren't changing. It's just the value of it is perceived differently now.
Yeah.
And that's really bothering you that much. And like, I understand if like, oh, I have $1 million house and I do want to sell it in 2 years and make a profit or whatever. That's where that applies. Where it's like most people are looking to sell their houses. They're not staying in there for 40 years. Right?
Yeah.
So they are looking at the next step. Whereas, you know, some people like, I don't know, I know a handful of people. They're like, yeah, this is the house I bought and this is all I can ever have. Right? So for them, they're like, I'm not thinking about selling. I'm just thinking about how I can fucking keep this place going.
Yeah.
But that's not how the majority of those riches work.
Well, and also, they were talking, I think it's like San Francisco or like one of those like places. It's 75% of the land can't be developed, so housing prices just keep skyrocketing.
Just keeps going.
Because people like want to live in the city.
They want to live there, and the option is, okay, pay the exorbitant price.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, one of the, like, because the book's slightly older, I think it was like in 2000 and early 2000s, it was people were paying 60% of their wage towards their mortgage, whereas before it used to be like 30%.
It's only gone up.
Because the prices are just outpacing how much people are making. Yeah. And even
go look at people renting apartments. Like, could you not even here? I'm not even talking about this shitty little city.
Dude, even here.
I agree. But then it's like, go somewhere else, and they're like, oh, I pay $2,900 a month for my rent.
$5,000.
And I'm like, what do you eat?
What
are you doing? Seriously. Like, I'm not, like, where we're at right now, we make a good coin, but, like, imagine we go live over there or something like that with what we make.
We'd be broke.
With only what we make right now.
We'd be broke.
We'd be doing nothing. Wouldn't do any of this.
No.
Fuck, wouldn't have a car.
And that's
We'd be walking everywhere. We'd never see each other.
And that's what they want.
Absolutely. Division
of classes.
That's it. They don't want you to fucking stick with each other and, you know, fight back.
He starts this
TED Talk podcast, whatever the fuck you want to talk.
Like talk. And he's like basically we're at a point where the only way, like in society, the only time this ever changes, like it happened in ancient Rome and multiple other things, is like revolution or war or something else. He has like a very like cynical look on like the only way it's going to change is like a massive revolt against the ultra wealthy.
It is.
And I'm
with him on that.
And even he said, he's like, it's crazy how all these like multi-billionaires have these like getaway plans. They have a bunker in New Zealand. They have cash in other countries for basically preparing for when everyone's like,
go fuck yourself.
It's like, you shouldn't have $100 billion. Like, we're going to like revolt.
Yeah.
So then they can just be like, bye.
But then when you think about it like that, it's like, are they really winning? When this happens, let's say though.
Yeah.
Because it will eventually one day. Maybe not in our lifetime even.
Yeah.
But it will someday. Like, you're gonna run away and what? Hang out in your bunker for the rest of your life?
Hey, but some of these people, they'll have all their money, so they don't give a fuck.
What I'm saying is, like, what if you are seriously, like, locked up in your bunker, and like there's fucking now the world has switched back, right? Let's say all the working slaves, we'll just call them slaves, turn. There's more of us.
Yeah.
Right? There's more of, I'm not even gonna say us. That's weird. There's more of them.
Yeah.
So because of that, let's say they figure it out and they go, they're never going to win again, the billionaires.
Yeah.
Right? Well, those billionaires are now like, they're kind of trapped in their own cages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a sense. Think about it that way, right? And it's like, let's say they leave and the slaves have become smart enough to like have fucking strike forces and shit. If I was the leader of the slaves, I'd have teams everywhere looking for these billionaires. And then when they pop out their little head, I'd be like, eliminate them.
See,
you know what I mean?
And
I'm just fucking, I'm spitballing
no,
here into
100%. And the like,
complete
because
bullshit.
stuff like that has happened in the past, not to like the same degree.
No, I understand.
But
yeah,
there's
like,
been revolts
in medieval and whatever times.
The problem with that is over a course of time, it always happens again.
Comes back. Yeah.
It's like you might.
It's a cycle.
You might be able to create where everyone is on a somewhat equal playing field, and just over time, it'll
switches back.
It slowly shifts
Yeah,
where
man.
a smaller and smaller majority own more and more and more.
It's a cycle. Life is a circle. That's why they say that.
And it will always happen for the end of time until,
I don't know, enlightenment.
you know,
like until God
have
intervenes.
you watched Altered Carbon?
No, but I've heard about it.
Okay, so that's like an extreme example of kind of like, it's a cyberpunk, but like,
Yeah, like futuristic.
but we'll
fucking
use like the
dystopian.
way their like economy is based, where the ultra like, so it's like, I think it's planetary or not. I think it might just be on like one planet, but the ultra like those billionaires and whatnot, they literally like live like in like not space, but like
on a satellite system, a station or something.
like low Earth orbit basically, and everyone else like lives on Earth in this like
Cesspool.
basically picture like New York City, but that's the entire world.
Yeah,
that's where everyone's like living, and all the billionaires get to like do their thing up above, and like the divide is astronomical.
Yeah,
to where they can basically and they also figured out a way to like live forever because they have these like discs that hold all your memories,
right,
and you can put it into like new sleeves.
Yeah.
So if you die, you can literally just
go
be
back into
reborn.
Yeah.
And
I have heard of this.
it's available for everybody, but it's so expensive that only the ultra wealthy.
Definitely.
So they have all this money and they live forever.
Yeah.
So it can, because that's usually the only time there's a shift in like massive amounts of wealth. It's like, say Elon Musk died, that wealth would get trickled down to like lower tiers, and eventually it would come back up to the top.
Yeah, of course, and definitely, yeah, 100%.
But if say the Elon Musk's, Amazon's
Never go away,
never leave,
nothing would change.
It's like you know how Fallout has what's the company?
Vault-Tec. Yeah.
Basically, they're able to like without wiping everyone out.
Yeah.
These companies are able to last forever because the heads of it are there forever.
Yeah.
And that's almost like Amazon. I don't think it's gonna ever go anywhere at this rate.
No.
It's only gonna like.
It's like the biggest slave trader in the world.
Oh, even like, and then there's like
kind of fucked.
Walmart.
Just as toxic. Meanwhile, that's where I get all my groceries.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, but that's the option I have.
There isn't an option.
No.
And even now, like, that's the thing, when you can afford to just change legislation so that you can like snuff out the competition, they have infinite money.
Yeah, how can you lose?
Like hedge funds and big organizations have infinite money.
Yeah.
Nvidia.
Yeah.
Infinite money.
Infinite. They're printing it. They're
like
just printing it. They just have to release the next series of cards, and now they're fucking.
Oh yeah, our market cap just went up another $200 billion.
Yep. And it will, because they're going to charge $4,000 for cards next year. Like, this is how it's going to be. And then only the people who can afford them will get them.
Yeah, and then, like, is what I'm worried about is when they're able to start restricting knowledge, because that's when it gets to a point.
It's already somewhat like that.
It's getting there.
Not quite as extreme as I can imagine what you're thinking, but like it's already where it's like most things to learn are from paywall.
Yeah.
Fucking regular goddamn articles on news sites are behind paywalls. That's just knowledge. You can't just have it anymore.
Oh, and we also have a problem where there's so much knowledge to where you don't know where to actually look, and you need to say pay someone that does know exactly where to look.
Yes. It's fucking, there's too much. And it's so oversaturated with arguably meaningless bullshit that it's hard to sift through. You could be as smart as you are, and it's still like, but is this true? Fuck. Okay. Then you spend another week researching on that, and it's, I just found out none of that made any sense. Okay, restart. All right, I got to start. Like, that's a lot of wasted time.
And, like, because the extreme example I was thinking in my head is ancient civilization where only the wealthy had access to books and could read and write.
Even Latin. Like, remember back in, like, fucking hundreds of years ago, only the priests could read the Bible.
Yeah.
They were the only ones allowed because they were the only ones who were allowed to learn language.
Yeah.
And then they were the ones who told you how to worship God. And if that means sucking the priest's dick and you're fucking 10 years old, that's what God wants. And that's another form of withholding the knowledge. And then people eventually start translating it and they revolted against the priests.
And, like, realistically, we're even in that right now. Perfect example is, like, most of the time when I talk to people about how taxes work, real estate, businesses, nobody even understands. They're like, how do these billionaires make all this money? And then you explain to them and they're like, that's a broken system.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, that's what we're all
and it's
trying to
actually a really easy system to use.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and you just also need resources.
You need somebody to point you in the direction.
And if you had resources, you would know about this. Right? It's like it's one has the other, or like one needs the other.
And I totally understand why most people don't know, because if you're not in that world,
then what? You're just trying to fucking eat the next meal the next day.
And that's why, like, you know, most, you know, billionaire families, their kids obviously become super successful because for them, the tax code and like how that works and finding people to work for you is second nature.
That's why it's like, for example, I'm just going to use him as an example. Will Smith's kids.
Yeah.
Right? Will Smith's an actor and he was a rapper. Right?
Yeah.
And then his fucking son became a weirdo actor and like he's done weird shit. And the only reason why he's able to do any of that weird shit is because he has an infinite amount of money. He can try whatever he so chooses to try.
Yeah.
Same with his daughter, whatever. She became an artist. And it's like, that doesn't normally happen. That's why you see so many famous people, like multimillionaire, famous actors and singers and whatever else, see their kids do the same thing or become more successful in a different aspect. But it's because they had all the fucking resources in the world. They had access.
And when money's
it doesn't matter.
It does.
Hey, Mom, I want to start this kind of thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. See what.
Sure. See what happens.
And then sometimes, or we'll use like, because obviously we talk more about business. Say it's like you've probably known people where like their parents started a business, they became super successful, and their kid's like, I want to start this business, and their parents give them the money to go start the business, and they become even more successful.
Blows up, and it's like
so say the parents, it took them 10 years to find the knowledge. Now their kid has it like
right
that.
there. You have it now.
So they're basically able to do it 10 years faster,
Absolutely.
which obviously means more growth because compounding growth.
Yep.
Like
you're just kind of piggybacking on that already compounded knowledge, and now you get to exponentially grow it to.
And that's why is what I think it was Scott Galloway and someone else talking on a podcast. I can't remember his name. I've never watched his podcast before, but it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking, and it's basically because in ancient Rome, you know how like every philosopher had like a mentor that was also a super famous, like
of course
Aristotle, like Alexander the Great.
Yes.
You look at who mentored them, and it's also some crazy person. But because that was a thing in ancient Rome, where say you had a kid, you would hire the most intelligent person that you could afford to mentor your son.
Yep.
Because obviously that guy is probably smarter than you.
Success. He has all this stuff. Yep.
So you would hire this person to mentor your son so that your son hopefully becomes super successful.
Absolutely.
And clearly it obviously worked.
A lot of the times.
He was talking how basically that's destroyed in society now because of people like P. Diddy, Michael Jackson, where it has a bad rep to where like you couldn't go to say you're a multimillionaire, you can't go to some 15-year-old kid and try to mentor him.
Hey man, come and fly under my wing. Let's go. They'd be like, okay, you're gonna rape me.
Yeah. Or even the parents just will be like, no. Meanwhile, you could have the best intentions trying to make their kid 100%. A billionaire.
Yeah.
But just society has destroyed mentorship for young men.
And it doesn't even just apply to just the money thing. Fucking anything.
No,
I've tried to help people out that are younger than me, and I still get that reaction, that weird, like.
I'm just saying money because that's what we talk
No, I
about
know,
here.
but I just mean in anything at all.
Well, in philosophy, in knowing yourself better, and like, yeah,
Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to listen.
it's not even no one wants to hear it. It's just like there's not that trust.
This is also true. Okay, so yeah, essentially,
Trust
it's
has
not
been
that
eliminated.
nobody wants to hear it. It's that they can't trust what they're going to hear.
Yeah,
Because they don't know who you are. They don't.
Yeah, like because people are inherently bad is basically what it is. And now like also with social media, now you see the bad, which
It's like if you have any kind of a fucking brain, you can read through it. You know what I mean? And then there's other guys like Noel Dezel.
Yeah.
Genuine guy.
Yeah.
Really nice, genuine guy who wants better for men, young men, and whatever else. But you can tell.
Yeah.
Right? You can see that through him. Whereas most of the time, most people are just in it for themselves.
Even like Scott Galloway, he was talking. He's like, every 6 months he tries to mentor like a young, like adult or young male to try to like help them better. And like he's like, I get them, working out a few hours a week, get them like just on track to like and whatnot. So he tries to do that, and that's why he was talking about how like it's so hard because there's like such a bad rap around it
man.
because of these like certain people.
Yeah.
And he also says like basically like young males now have it like worse than ever in society because there's so a really interesting statistic is so if say there's a like a divorce in the household and the daughter goes with the mother, there's almost like no difference in how they come out.
Yeah.
They'll be pretty much okay. Mm-hmm. If the son ends up being raised by the mother with no male figure, they end up like all the like incarceration rates, dropout rate, everything is like through the roof because males need a male to like guide them and look up to.
Yep.
And he talks about in schools, like it's like 60 or 70% of the faculty are women. Like pretty much until, he said like that's why a lot of young adults can't, young males in particular can't regulate their emotions. They can't like deal with stress because from the age of from born until 20s, they have
all females.
They have no male role models, no male structure.
Yeah.
And then they get into the real world.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that are well-rounded, rough, know how to do it.
They can't handle it.
Which makes total sense.
They crumble.
And you can like I even know guys where like they never had like it's a common thing. It's like I'm
like, working with them now.
Like daddy issue, like guys that have daddy issues or guys that always need validation. It's because they didn't have a strong male role model to give them the confidence.
I have one who I'm working with. I'm gonna keep this as confidential as possible. He was raised by his mother with like 3 other children. His dad, I don't remember what the detail was, but is not there.
Yeah.
I like the kid, don't get me wrong. But he's soft. He's reserved. He's quiet. Very timid. Very, like this. And it's not that I don't like him because of that, but I could never be friends with someone like that. Because that's not who I am. You know what I mean? I don't have that like coddled nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's because my dad was a hard ass.
Yeah.
And sure, I was taught mostly by women. Yes, absolutely. But I did notice that whenever I had a male teacher, I'd pay more attention. I liked hearing him talk. I liked listening to what he had to say. And I'm not saying I didn't respect the women. It's not what I mean. But it's just, it was a different feeling, man. It was almost just like my mom was always there. And I was like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when your mom fucking bitches at you, you're like, shut up. Like, I
all
don't
of
want
my-
to hear it.
all of my
But
favorite-
then your dad goes, hey, shut the fuck up.
And you're like,
yes, sir.
yeah.
Right? And it has nothing to do with you not loving and respecting your mother. You need that father figure. You need that
someone to
male
push back
intensity,
against
man.
you.
You do. Because otherwise, our testosterone is why we're like that. We just run wild.
Have you seen
man.
that episode of American Dad where
Yes.
where he like makes a clone of his son Steve
Yes.
and one's raised by the mom?
Yes. Wild episode, dude. Whereas Steve's mom, Steve, is like fucking a bitch boy.
Yeah.
Mom, I want this. And she's like, okay, Steve. And the other Steve's like, I'm a murderer.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy fucking shit, dude. And then at the end, they agree that they need to have a balance.
100%.
And absolutely, you need a balance. That's why we have both.
Well, that's
of them,
why
for
you
fuck's
also
sakes.
see where like if a guy had a really rough dad,
then he's hardcore.
he's crazy.
And his mom was, passive and not whatever.
Or not there.
Or not there, whatever it may be. You can tell. There's another guy that I work with on my crew. This is fucking, I hate this.
You have a social fucking...
Seriously, it's a mess, man. It's a mess. And this guy, his dad, is a hard ass, and like not in the bet. Like no offense to fucking you, but he's a hard ass. He's kind of a dick. He's a dumbass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard headed. Fucking, I'm right. You're fucking wrong. That's how he is.
Yeah.
He's a fucking
And it's human
child,
nature.
and he's like, I'm a fucking grown man. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, sit the fuck down.
You there's a balance.
Absolutely.
There's a balance.
Yes, most definitely.
Especially like he speaks particularly in men.
That's yes. In men, I'm not talking about women at all. We're speaking about guys.
Yeah.
How they get raised. Absolutely. You need both.
And he also advocates where
Mom for compassion, dad for fucking
well,
drive.
because also if it's raised by dad, sometimes there's just no empathy. There's no
nothing. No
no
fucks
emotions.
to give.
No,
Yeah. Fuck everybody. I'll fucking tell that guy how it is.
And I mean, a lot of times that's going to be the high achiever, but it's because there's also a negative driver.
Something missing there. There's something missing.
There's something big missing.
So, welcome to Twin City Peaks.
Wait, we started?
We're back.
We're back.
Fucking shitty little hiatus.
And
honestly, it's
bigger, better, stronger.
Listen, guys, we don't make $1 off of this yet, right? So if we fucking can't come and do this, I'm not stressing.
No.
Right? It's like
I want to.
I want to do this weekly. I really do. Like everything in me, the whole fucking 3-4 weeks that we didn't do this, every Monday I was like, fucking Christ, man.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I felt stupid just because we've done this for a year now. And then we took like 3 weeks off, and I was like, oh, the fuck, part of me's missing.
Yeah, no, we fell off the bed.
Right? So, and I felt like I was actually doing nothing, even though it was one thing that changed. One thing that changed. And I felt like I was empty. Like, okay, I see how this is. We've associated ourselves with this quite strongly.
And is what I do like about that too is because like it's so unique, but so many people love it. Like for us, they're like, "This is
dude.
fucking your." Like they're like, "You have a podcast that makes sense."
They're like, "Yeah, oh yeah, that is you. Yeah, that is you." And I'm like, "Hi, is it?"
Like,
okay.
I've recently found actually, and that's why I kind of like Scott Galloway too, because he's kind of like obviously I love the Hormozy for like pure business.
Of
but
course.
That's all he is.
Yeah.
I like this guy like more like I would emulate more of him just based off of because he actually does want to like teach and he does a lot of talks and like try to help
Kind of
young
has a
males.
personality, man. Like I'm not saying Hormozy doesn't, but guy's the same way in every single video. He is the same exact way.
He's a robot.
He kind of is.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's
and it makes
totally
sense because he's also what, like 34, worth several $100 million, like basically self-made. He has to be that person to be where he is. It's the same as like,
or to continue to his goal of $15 billion.
Or like because even look at
he stops now. He's never getting there.
Look at you know how everyone says like Mark Zuckerberg's basically like a robot. It's because like you have to be. You can't let emotion get in the way of business.
I mean, honestly though, like Mark Zuckerberg's a little scary with how. Not just he's a robot, yes.
He's a husk.
But his like fucking just the way he emotes and the way he speaks and stuff. And I'm like, dude, are you half synthetic? Like,
no,
because you have to be.
Is there like any emotion going on
that's
ever?
That's what I mean. And then I see a weird video of him like dressed like kind of not Richie Rich, but he's got like nice clothes on, a nice watch or something, and he's like dressed up, and I'm like, that's not the Mark Zuckerberg that I know. It's super weird. I'm like, you have a personality? You actually have likes and dislikes?
Well, and
it throws me off.
And I wonder though if because even like Alex and like all these super successful people, they never say their personal opinions because it might get in the way of their business.
Yes, they keep it to themselves.
Or like to a very tight circle,
Yeah.
so you never see it. So you don't you don't see them as a whole person.
Exactly.
So,
right. That's another
but
thing.
like Mark Zuckerberg on the outside is a fucking robot. But who knows? Behind closed doors, he might be a normal.
Maybe he's the nicest guy. Loves to fucking shoot the shit, fucking drink a beer. And
we'll never know.
Hang out no, we won't.
We'll never
get to know. And you know what? It's good if truly he is a normal, regular dude. Good for him for hiding it so well.
A prime example.
That's a skill.
A prime example of a billionaire that gets shit on for showing like everything would be Donald Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we all know who he is exactly.
Because most of the things he says, it's not thoughts no one's ever had before.
No, dude.
And they're not really that outlandish.
Most of his shit is just intrusive thoughts he says instead of leaving it to fade away into the darkness. And then we're all like, oh, fuck, he said it.
And it's because we're comparing him against people like Mark Zuckerberg that are robots that don't show anything.
Or the other fucking 40 plus presidents.
Yeah.
Right? We're comparing him to how many there were? 47 other ones? 48 other ones?
I don't know. But yeah.
We're comparing that to a lot of different guys who were just very like, I'm the president of the United States. I'm here for the people. And then Donald's like, you see this clown over here? And everyone's like, what? Really? That's shocking, dude.
China.
Yeah, China all the time.
But even I've seen a few different like people speak out now to where there's like no use for a president.
No, they're really
The U.S. is too big of an empire.
A figurehead.
That's all.
That's all it
It's
is.
like the queen or
That
the king.
pisses me off.
That's basically what a U.S. president is now.
I know.
They don't have any real say.
And at least in our kind of in our way of doing things here in Canada, that's more transparent. That the prime minister isn't necessarily like, yeah, he's the leader, sure, but realistically,
It's the party.
It's the cabinet. Yeah, it's the cabinet that makes decisions. But then it becomes the problem where if he has like influenced everyone in the cabinet, then it really is just him running it. And that's kind of what's going on right now.
Well,
here.
and also that's another thing with it's more like you don't vote. Well, you shouldn't vote just for the person. You
Yes.
should vote for like whatever party has the best
Yes.
policies.
Yeah.
Because they're not
Which sucks.
like all of Trump's policies or Kamala's policies
Yes.
aren't theirs.
No.
It's
It's
Democratic,
the Democratic or the
and
Republican. I know, and people are not looking at it like that.
And it's like, no, it's the thought of the entire like party and who represent like this what are like because ours it's like the House of Commons and the parties. I don't know.
Senate?
No.
Is it the Senate? No.
Oh, you want don't even get
What
me
are we
started
talking
with the
about?
Senate.
Yeah.
No, whoever they're like
I know. I'm
I guess like governors or whatever.
whatever. Yeah.
No, the Senate is it's not you don't get voted in.
No.
Or no, you don't get voted and you get like elect.
Yeah.
No, it's not an election. You just get it. You get like a seat and
Oh, really? I thought it was elected.
I think you might get elected, but it's forever.
Oh.
Or something.
Yeah, right. You're not like you just got that position.
It's not like every year you have to run or every
No.
4 years.
Yeah, no,
it's
no.
like you're a senator.
Yeah, here's your job.
And now you're a senator until you either move up or retire.
That's it.
And they can pretty
Just
much.
fucking ridiculous, man.
It's like I think you can get voted out of the Senate,
Yeah.
but as long as you're just making sure.
Yeah,
that
if
people will vote
you're not
for-
fucking around, right? Pretty much.
it's. I've seen so many things with the Senate. It's so corrupt. All of government's corrupt because it's money. Money corrupts all.
Yeah.
I love it.
Money corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's kind of where we're at with the economy and everything.
And like I can feel the corruption too. You know what I mean? Like I can feel it.
Oh, a perfect example is even like in our city where pretty much it was a lot of the major like the metros and like all of that, all of the grocery stores pretty much made sure that we couldn't get a Costco.
Yeah.
They tried to like make sure we didn't get a Walmart, but we ended up getting it.
Yeah. That was fucking gonna be inevitable though. But Costco, yeah.
Even like so many things get pushed out by our city officials.
Yep.
Because there's people here, like rich people in our city lobbying to make sure because that would encroach on their business.
And they're all 70 plus.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
Why do you think that building there is used for hockey and nothing else?
Yeah.
We don't get concerts here. We have a great venue.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a great venue. We could have the shows that I'm going to see, they could come here.
Yeah.
And then people from all around could come here. And then boost the economy of Sault Ste. Marie. But they don't want that shit.
No.
They let the circus come to town, and that's pretty much fucking it.
It's basically they only let things that come to town that they own and they'll profit off of.
Absolutely.
It's so and like
Young people aren't allowed to make money here.
It's basically controlled by a handful of families.
That's it.
Like there's
honestly, that's why I hate this city.
there's basically like I've explained
And I know this is like this in most cities. I do know that. But at least in other cities, there's like fucking competition.
Well, and it's also like the city is big enough to where say like the piece of the pie is the same or like the same percentage.
Yes.
But the pie is bigger.
It's way bigger, man.
So like say there's 10% of like an industry in the Sioux that's like untapped.
Yeah.
That's not very much money, but
No.
we're in a bigger city, you can make a big
Yes,
company.
exactly. Even fucking compared to, I don't know,
Sudbury, Barrie,
sure, for fuck.
London.
I hate that we can even compare to Sudbury because it's 3 times bigger than us.
But even
Most people don't even realize that.
even drive in Sudbury, look at all the dealerships and who owns them.
Dude, it's one fucking guy. I bought it from him. Like,
You have to.
yeah, it's no choice. He owns, I think it's like 70% of them in town.
Yeah.
And they're like all on the same road.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
If you look at any of the like actual businesses, like somewhat larger businesses in our city, usually you start talking around, it's like, oh yeah, he's also owns this and this.
There's only a few hands touching them.
He half owns this. He owns the building for this, not the business. He owns that. He owns this.
Yep.
And it's
he owns the road on this side, and then he owns that.
like 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna say there's maybe 6 families.
Yep.
And most of them are married to each other, so it's like,
Yep.
it's like
one family. It's essentially. Ooh, this is a weird comparison. World War I families. All the kings and emperors. And whatever,
yeah.
they were all related, but then
Yeah.
they all fucking gone to a war.
Because you would like marry your daughter off to make the empire bigger, and like marry your son off to this.
Do you know about that World War I bullshit? It's
Uh,
so crazy, man. There's one lady that birthed them all,
Yeah.
and multiple of the sons and daughters said that if she was alive, World War I would have never happened.
Imagine having that much power. To where like, yeah, all my kids
Mom
run the
shows
world.
up and they're all like, "Sorry, mommy."
So is what you're saying is World War I was just a family dispute?
Yes,
You gotta love when the family dispute kills 10 million people.
isn't that like crazy? I learned this a long time ago, but every time I think about it,
I know,
like,
I did hear that in history class.
I'm like, that's so fucked up, man. But that's essentially that. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, because wasn't it like one of them was like killed or something in that like
Yes, it was an assassination.
was it Franz Ferdinand or
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's the name.
It's Ferdinand, something Ferdinand.
I want to say Franz
Yeah,
Ferdinand.
he got assassinated and then it fucking.
It was like it started the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But that was like the how kingdoms developed. Like even go back to like
18, 16, 1400s.
like go back to like when there was castles.
800s. Yep.
It's like you would marry your daughter off
Your
to another
princess,
king.
your daughter was a product.
Yeah, to build an alliance.
100%.
You
Grow your kingdom, make it bigger, more powerful.
Yeah.
Now you have twice the size
That's
of
how
the
you
army.
made. That's how you made allies.
You know, buddy comes and attacks you. Well, you don't want to do that. Yeah, I do. Okay, and then you call your buddy, and now you have 2 times the size of the army. That's why it worked.
You want to know another really interesting history thing is King Henry VIII? Yeah, I think it was the 8th. Because most of the time kings were also like they've been figureheads for like a long time, and they needed the nobility to back them.
Yeah.
Because the nobility were the people that actually had money, and they were the ones that could raise armies.
Yeah.
It was King Henry because he owned like most of the land, so he was like super wealthy. So if he wanted to go to war, normally you'd have to ask the nobility, and the nobility would like get together and they'd be like, "Okay, we will give you X amount of dollars, we'll raise an army, and we agree to go to war with you." Whereas he didn't need that because he was richer than all of them. So all he would do is either sell land, or he just had the like at that time it would be gold to hire his own personal army, so he could do any conquest he basically like wanted. And that's why he also he left like the Catholic religion, because he didn't want to be. He wanted to be above the Catholic Church.
Right, I remember that part.
And a funny part is because
my God.
when he got close to his death, he was scared that he wasn't like he like second guessed, and he became Catholic again, so that to hopefully go to heaven.
I forgot about that.
But then his son was like a fuck up, and then King Elizabeth I, and then inherited that huge empire.
Yeah.
And then that's why they had so much power and so much money, was because of King Henry. And just since we were talking about
so toxic.
ancient,
it's so fucked, man.
but it's so crazy. Like,
and we're still feeling some of the effects of that hundreds of years later.
because these families still exist. They
Those
just have,
fucking faces on our money, man.
which is, I wish I want my face
that-
on some money.
It drives me crazy though to see those fucking idiots on our money.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. I'd rather fucking see Roberta Bondar or something on my dollar. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. Somebody who made something of themselves, not just happened to be wealthy.
Gotta love being just born into.
Like, if it was the first guy, you know what I mean? If it was the first guy, yeah, sure, be on my money.
Yeah.
I don't want this stupid slut that's done nothing. Yeah, fuck you, queen. I don't fucking care.
She's dead now.
Fuck her. Fucking roll in the grave, bitch. Fucking hate that.
But yeah, and then back to like the families in the suit. That's like a thing everywhere. There's usually just a family that controls so much.
They just took that opportunity and ran with it.
And it's so hard to break it up because they can just say there's someone else that's super successful and wants to kind of encroach.
Break in there, yeah.
They just get like married and then become one family. And then it's like, oh, you basically just like, it's like, okay, you might actually be like an adversary. You can join it.
No, you're just part of it.
Yeah. If you can't beat them, join them.
You can't fight us now. You're part of the family.
So
it is
broken.
Twisted, man. And it's all just politics, really, at the end of the day.
Well, even look at like banks; they're all like run by like the same family. Politics, it's so fucked up.
It's toxic, dude.
I love it.
It's interesting, without a doubt, to say the least. Without a goddamn doubt. So yeah, we've been fucking busy.
Yeah,
we've been busy. How did this all start? You went away to Cuba, right?
Yeah.
You had.
I went to Cuba again.
Yeah, your thing happened first.
Yeah.
And then the weekend that you came back, I had a wedding and the fucking, and the concert.
Oh, we missed 2 because of Cuba.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. So we missed 3 now?
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 because of Cuba, because you started your week off there like right before the first pod.
Yeah.
And
I think I left the day we would have recorded at like 5 a.m. and then obviously I missed the next one because I was in Cuba. And then when we came back, you had your thing and
just a mess, man. And that's literally why our schedules are fucking ass.
Yeah.
Because let's say our schedules were the same, when I did come back, we would have had time.
Oh yeah.
I had 2 days.
If they were aligned, or if we just fucking worked like a normal job.
I know.
Or you had like normal hours, not even a normal job, just like
if they were, honestly, like I don't want them, but if they go the 8s, there's a chance that we're like gonna be always on the same kind of schedule.
Yeah, or at least
similar, anyways.
We'd be able to do something, line it up because we'd be free. But
fucking so
I'm
stupid.
Just gonna
that would suck.
I've literally told everyone, I'm like, if they go 8s or whatnot, I'm just gonna quit.
That's what. Yeah, this like. Some of the guys are saying that, and there's one of the guys, the guy with the dad that I was saying, like, I'm gonna fucking leave. What we should do is everyone should hand in their 2 weeks notice. They won't be able to do anything about it. I was like,
no, they'll still do it.
What do you mean? I was like, they'll just have to hire a whole new crew. Yeah. It's like, do you not understand that? I was like, the union is there to protect us for some things. It's some things.
Actually, it goes against our union contract for what they're trying to do.
However, if the union agrees, it doesn't matter about the contract.
There has to be a vote, though.
They'll make it happen.
100%.
Think about it this way. The union just wants more guys, right? That's all they want. They want more members.
Yeah.
If they go to 8s, they just added a 3rd.
Well, no. Because if they go to, at least as far as where I work, if they go to 8s, they're not hiring any more people. They'll just have like 8 hours to where they're not doing as much production.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be like that.
Because they're doing the top guy, so like the bottom.
I heard about it. Yeah,
the top guys are still gonna be on 12s
for now,
and then the bottom 24 will go to 8s for like nighttime when there is production.
Yeah,
because during the day, like there's not much happening. Like where I work,
that's so
you don't need as many guys. Yeah. But at night is when because we're doing maintenance all day, and then at night is when we push. So that's when we need guys.
That's funny. We're so opposite. We like we're slaving during the day shifts, like. Full slavery.
Oh yeah, we do.
And then night shifts, it's like.
Oh, see, I love my day shifts, and the nights are also like chill, but there's a lot more work.
See, it's funny. It's total opposite for us. Like our 2 night shifts were easy. Our day shifts, we had a bunch of shit we had to fix.
Well, there's 2 big reasons for us only doing stuff on nights.
Yeah, I know.
One is because all the because pretty much bricklayers have to work on those ovens constantly to even keep them up. And they work 6 to 2 or whatever it is, or 8 to 4.
Sure. What a weird fucking shift.
And then, because coke ovens create a lot of emissions, so we just do it at night, so you don't see it.
Yep. Yep. That's why we normally shut down on night shift.
For
the furnace.
Why?
Because when you're fucking shutting down, it's real bad.
Oh yeah.
We have to blow the holes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just red. Coming out of the top of the furnace. Red.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Because you want to know when the wind's blowing my way? All I see, like, all of a sudden there's just, like, dust particles
Mars.
everywhere, and it's like
fucking Mars.
And then you go and you look, and it's like, oh, the candle's out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, they're shutting down.
Yeah.
Great. Gross.
Even sometimes, if you guys have like a bad shutdown or you have lots of emissions, we have to stop because your emissions come to us. They're like, yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. It's like,
what? Well, they're fucking up. Oh, okay.
yeah, it's like, or we know when you guys are running like shit. Because say normally, like on the battery, we're like 50, 60 parts per million. You guys are running like shit. All of a sudden,
100, 200, 300.
we're like, and we're looking, and it's like, there's no coke oven gas. Like, why are the emissions so high today? And then it's like,
where's the wind coming from? Oh, yeah, okay, that's them.
It's
Nice.
like, oh, thanks, guys. You're trying to kill us over here.
Yeah. It's fucking bad, man. It's fucking bad. Dude,
We should buy one.
fucking running the show here, and it's fucked up.
We should buy a steel plant just for shits.
We'll buy that one. They'll sell it soon.
It'd be kind of funny.
They're going to make it a numbered company.
What?
They're going to make it a numbered company.
It is.
And like they're going to buy it out from just another numbered company.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty sick.
Because then they're just going to be able to run it. It won't be Algoma Steel anymore.
Oh, you mean like they're going to sell off the assets? Yeah, I've heard that too.
It's still Algoma Steel.
Oh, I guarantee is what they're going to do is they're going to have like, you know how like Alphabet? So
Yeah.
let's say they're going to have their Alphabet and
That's
there's going to be
exactly what it
Algoma
is.
Steel and then they also own this.
Yeah, it's exactly what
It's going to be the same people.
Well, there's fucking, the byproducts in there is still owned by SR.
Is it?
Yes. The only place in the whole plant that's still owned by them because it makes millions. For free, essentially. Because it's byproducts. That's fucking genius.
I love it.
They were like, well, let's abandon ship, but hold on, we're going to fucking keep that one thing there.
I love it.
Just
I did hear
printing
about that.
money.
I didn't know they still own it.
Yeah, they still have it. That's still theirs.
I know they want to sell off like Transwest and East because it doesn't make any money.
Yeah. It's going to be a disaster for the We use Transwest all the time to go dump iron.
Well, it's just gonna be owned by like someone else because they want to use it. But I guarantee they'll just like,
Oh, it'll still be the same,
yeah,
but I'm sure there'll be like a cost to it or something. We won't see it. I'm just,
yeah, but things
Things are going to change. Well, folks.
damn. I guess I could talk a little bit about what I've been up to because I haven't been just like sitting with my dick in my hand.
Yeah.
Well, I have been, but not the whole time. Okay, maybe, but
Half the time.
half the time. Been reading a lot of books, a lot of good books, great books actually. I got to send you my list. I've read 19 books this year. I like added them up. I was like, my goal was 10.
Yeah.
There was Millionaire Mindset. That was a really good book. Nothing new. Everything you'll know.
Yeah.
Put really well, though. I would recommend it. Economic Facts and Fallacies. I read 40% of it in 2 days,
That's pretty
and
nice.
it talks about like the gender pay gap, the fallacies around that, zero sum, like basically a bunch of like huge economic like things that like just kind of like puts light onto like why they are the way they are. So I've been reading a lot of research, and then just figuring out the real estate stuff more. I think that might be my way out of the plant, or at least to get me out of there, and then I'll have lots of time for this.
Get the fuck out of there.
That's like, I'm really driving to get out, like really hard,
I don't want to be there anymore.
because it's becoming a fucking shit show.
Well, it's a shit show and it's killing me.
It's killing me. It's a shit show, and it's also only gonna get worse in the future.
Oh, it's not getting better.
So
definitely not
it's a
getting better.
sinking ship, and like I don't really want to. Like I love the guys that are asking me about like, oh, do you have a posting somewhere? I'm like
I'm getting tired of answering the question.
and I'm just like, nah, I'm riding it to the end.
Yeah.
And
That's
they're
what
like,
I've been saying,
they're
though.
like, but what do you mean?
What are you gonna do after? Anything other than this?
And I literally my like now my running thing is I'm like, I want to push the last oven out.
Yeah.
And they're like, well then what are you gonna do? And I'm like,
My own shit.
figure something out.
Yeah. No, trust me, I fucking 21-year-old brand new kid on the crew. It's like
Who?
Ryan Kittle.
Nah.
Nice guy. I'm not shitting on
He's
him at
just
all.
my age, so I was curious about
Yeah,
him.
he's younger guy, new guy, really gung ho. I like him, works hard. But we were talking about. He's like, yeah, fucking something about a posting and so, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna do that, whatever. He's like, and then I mentioned, I was like, oh man, fucking something about, oh, I'm just over this block or whatever. And he goes, oh, only 30 more years. I was like, what? I was like, no. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I've got 30 more years of this. I was like, you might. I definitely do not. And he just looked at me and he's like, what do you mean? I was like, this is not the end all be all, my guy. I was like, I'm not sticking this out for more than another year or two. I was like, that's about as long as I have mentally left here. I was like, I can appreciate you guys can fucking grind this out and then die when you're 62. But
yeah, it's starting to weigh on the
like,
mental.
that's not me. It's not me.
It's starting to like actually affect.
I'll go
me.
be homeless before I work there for the rest of my life.
Well, and all the
straight up.
And that's the thing. Like the guys are like, well, there's only like maybe if we get lucky, like 4 more years. And I'm like, okay, for like say someone that's like halfway through their like pension, that's a problem. I'm like, I'll be 25.
Yeah.
And I'll have all the money I've made from here. Yeah. Realistically, I could not work for a few years.
Yeah, I'm only going to be 34.
That's what I mean. It's like we're still young.
Like I'm not.
I can still start an entire career. Like
it really bothers me, that attitude at the plant.
Like, and that's
it really gets to me.
It's like, hey, in 4 years, if I lose my job, I'll be 25. That's when most people start their career anyway. If I have a 30-year career somewhere else, I'll still only be 55.
I'll be fine.
Like,
I can still do the same, and I'll be 60. What the fuck?
That's what I mean. It's
I don't get the mentality. I genuinely don't. Like, I get fucking mad. I get mad thinking about it because I'm like, why are you guys so fucking okay with succumbing to this? You're just okay with sucking the devil's dick for the rest of your life? I was like, I don't get that. I was like, fucking make something of yourself, man.
That is why there's the wealth divide.
I know.
Like, that is why
I know
the 1%ers and who we're trying to strive to be
driven
make more and more money every year.
And then I wonder, I'm like, why do you think that I like just the whole workout thing, all the discipline and all that? And they're always like, wow, that's crazy, man. And to me, I'm like, it's not.
It's not even difficult.
It's not hard at all. Oh, fucking all the meal prep and whatever. I was like, I'm having an easier time with all this. You just don't have the discipline to care. And I'm not talking about just the gym.
Yeah.
Money, everything. Fucking wanting to leave the plant. I was like, have an idea and follow through.
Oh,
fucking do it.
And it's funny because like all the guys, they all know that like I'm super into like fitness, health, and I don't even preach it at all. They just know it and they see what I eat and they're like, you're just so about it.
I do it, and then people ask and I'll answer.
Yeah.
But I don't go and be like, yeah, I fucking did chest today, man. I was pushing the 90s for fucking 7 sets of fucking 300 and blah, blah. I don't do that. I used to be that guy 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was really young and I was at and gymming was kind of new to me, and I was like, oh, fucking
Yeah.
It's like, no one cares.
No
one cares.
No
and those
cares.
that do care will ask you.
Yeah. And even
That's
like, there's just so many things where like, yeah, and I love, there's a few like entrepreneurs I watch where it's like, it's actually so easy to make money. You just need know-how. It's not hard.
It's a know-how, and it's a resource thing.
Yeah. And guys,
it's really all it is.
And like, because most of the guys that we work with could have millions of dollars if they just like used it properly, and they just don't. And then they're always like so amazed that like I have whatever assets, and they're like, wow, that's crazy that you can afford it. It's like, we make the same amount.
Yes.
And they're like, well, you work a ton of overtime. I'm like, it's not like you can't.
No. And even if you didn't work overtime, just be more mindful with your money. It's not hard. But then you get guys who, I bought a boat last week. Fucking, I'm looking at this.
I'm looking at a new truck.
I want to fix my fence. I looked at the trailer. I'm getting a 4-wheeler next week. There's a side-by-side I want to buy. And I'm like,
oh, man, I got to get the new iPhone, too.
What are you, fucking penny pinching here? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes I look at my income versus what comes out of my account. I'm like, oh, that's too much. And then I'm like, okay, it's like not even half. Like, I can relax. Like, Jesus Christ.
Man, I so many times.
And like, that's living on my own vehicle, everything, food, all that. And I'm spending less than half. What the fuck are you doing? Not you, but like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? I get it if you have 3 kids, you have a wife, a house. I kind of understand that. I get that. Your money's stretched thin. That makes sense. Most of the guys aren't like that. They live with their fucking parents.
I know a guy that's like 50 and a guy that's like 30 lives with their parents. And like crippling debt.
Huh? Like, where are you putting this fucking money, man? And I'm like, yeah. Or fucking this or whatever it is.
Oh, the same guys that'll complain about being broke all the time, they're at the bar every night.
You're spending $300 a night, man. Yeah, your money disappears. What did you think was going to happen?
Or gambling.
I hate that shit.
Or they're like, oh yeah, I invest in whatever company. Do you know anything about it? No, but my buddy said it was real good. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, I lost half of it.
Just fucking.
I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Moral of the story, people are just stupid.
People.
You know what? You know what? I'm totally getting why there's a more and more wealth divide.
Yeah.
People are just stupid.
They're dumb, man. Either they're dumb or they're. I actually don't know what it is.
It's just
it's
ignorance.
I can't believe that everyone's stupid, because then humanity's hopeless.
It is hopeless.
What sucks is the average IQ is like the half, right? It's like, what was it? What's the saying? The average IQ is like the top half or the bottom half or something. So that implies that there's another 50% of retards out there too.
Oh yeah.
Like there's real fucking stupid idiots out there, and that's why the average is where it's at.
Yeah, because I think the average in Canada is like 100. So
Sure.
so out of the 40 million people, 20 million have 100 and above, which isn't even really high.
No. And then the other 20 million are less than that.
Okay, what is it? I think the U.S. government won't let anyone be in the military that has like under 78 IQ because there's no use for them.
Oof.
There is no job that they think they can train them well enough to do in the military. Some of those jobs, you sweep the fucking floor.
No, some of those jobs is like flip this switch, press that button, move this lever, and do that all day.
Yeah.
It's like you're too stupid to do that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And really, that's only 20
And
points
the
less.
U.S.
That's
the U.S.
That's only 20 points. That's not very much.
God, man. We're fucked.
Yeah.
The world's fucked. No wonder everyone's fucking stupid and shitty and poor.
I get it. You know what? You know what? I'm glad I'm smart.
Oh. At least having somewhat of a brain is a benefit.
Yeah, it's not a very good one, but at least it's better than average.
It fires. Yeah. I never thought of myself as like a super, like I think of myself as intelligent, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't think of myself as a super genius in anything.
Well, you're not like
But then
I'm
I
an
think about,
academic.
yeah, but then I think about other people and I'm like, fuck.
By comparison.
God damn, I'm smart.
Like,
Holy shit.
those people are stupid and non-driven. It's
That's
crazy.
fucking sucks. Fucking sucks, man.
Like, see, like hard work will beat out like intelligence, but if you got neither, like,
And you're getting nowhere.
it's like, you know what? You can just, I don't know. Can you not breed with anyone, please?
Oh, that's the other thing. Oh my God. They're just allowed to do that.
You have to do an IQ test before you can
Man,
have a
I
child.
actually kind of low-key wish that was a thing.
I actually seen a really initiative from a bunch
Like,
of.
I'm not saying we can't let anybody, like,
I seen an initiative for like a lot of super wealthy people are trying to have like tons of kids, try to like bring it up. But
I just think
no, dude, no. But then who are we gonna hire?
if you're gonna, I guess.
No, we need them.
I know.
We need them.
But if you're gonna have a kid, I think maybe there should be at least a minimum baseline of something.
Nah, as long as it's above that 78 where I can teach them to flip that lever and push
I
that
don't
button.
mean intelligence-wise. Like, if you make 20 grand a year and you fucking eat food stamps, you shouldn't be allowed to have a kid. No offense.
Nah, I have 12.
Oh,
Dude, it's fucking the West.
we're just paying for them.
Ah. See, but once we get over that $1 million hump, then our taxes are like nothing, and really we don't pay for them anymore. That was the most.
All right,
that was the most least empathetic, sadistic.
We gotta
thing.
find a legal way to enter slavery. On that note,
Yeah, it's fucking Amazon figured it out. What do you
oh
mean?
shit, no bathroom breaks.
No bad.
Apparently that's what makes you billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. No bathroom breaks.
Once we have a business, as a joke, one day I'm gonna be like, we're cutting out bathroom breaks. Productivity's too low,
We're removing the toilet.
and have Jason walk in with a wrench.
He's like just. Oh, sorry guys. Fucking walks
Nope.
out with the toilet.
Yeah, your lunch break actually is just you standing and working.
Yeah.
You're just allowed to bring the food to your desk. You get the 5 minutes
Yeah.
to go heat it up
You
and
get
come
to
back.
be one-handed for this hour, and then now you have to use. Oh my god.
We're going straight to
Yeah,
hell.
we are.
And maybe prison.
You know,
too.
if any of this was like allowed, we would do it.
And so would every other billionaire.
no,
So
it's
you know, you can't even fault us.
Fuck.
just
Well,
terrible people.
we're gonna try and not try. We're gonna stay back on course here. We're gonna fucking start recording some real shit.
Yeah.
Get some episodes out. Maybe do a couple bonuses here and there. Try and do a little catch up. But yeah. welcome to the last half of the year, last quarter of the year. We are gonna grind this out.
Yeah, hopefully big things happening.
Big things will happen. We'll make them happen.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back, and until next time.